God.
You call that radio?
Makes coherent sense.
As you call that radio TV, we are live, and a very special guest today. I'm absolutely buzzing about it. We're about to speak to Mik Artistik of Mik Artistik and the Ego Trip, which was a recommendation from one of our regulars, Captain Hot Knives, a fellow Yorkshire man. I've been absolutely loving going through Mik's extensive back catalogue. It's totally blown me away. There's not really any pigeonholes or any evidence of pigeons that I can use to fairly describe the art, but it's descriptive tales of death, comedy, beauty, joy, all the good stuff. Brian Ferry's greatest hits. And the new album Pop is out now. They're also on a UK tour, and there is currently an art exhibition, so there's lots to talk about. So let's go live to Yorkshire just now. Hello, Mik Artistik. Thank you for calling. You call that radio. How are you doing?
Hello, Mark McGee. I'm okay. I feel quiet. I feel like a little boy, but I'll be fine.
No, well, I can hear you fine, mate. I can hear you fine. You're having a busy week. You're selling the paintings. You were even up in our nation's capital of Edinburgh at the weekend. How did that go?
We had about 12 people turned up because there was a bus strike on. The weather was awful, so we only got about a dozen or so people there, but it was a lovely gig.
It was Storm Bertie. Yeah, man. There was lots of travel chaos, man, and I mean, like even Idols, who sold out the Hydro about 4 months ago, it looked only about 70% full, and there was loads of people messaging me. I think I gave away about 10 tickets to Idols to our patrons, and I think they were about 60-70 quid tickets. So I think everybody just shat it and just stayed in the house on Saturday.
Well, it was a inhospitable night, really.
Yeah,
and we played in a cold little bar, the wee red bar. It was very cold, and I had my vest on, but I just kept running around, and people sort of moved from side to side and just kept busy. We had a very pleasant evening. Kept warm, yeah.
Yeah. I've been loving the new album, man. I was just looking through a few of your older albums as well, and I noticed a pattern of one-word album titles. I personally, I do a 3-word. Every album I've ever released is 3 words. So I was just wondering, is that deliberate? Is there a meaning behind that?
I think it's just short and sweet, and the short, sharp shock. And when we first started, I think our first album was called Shock and Awe. So that was 3 words. But then we the next one after that was, I think, Pulverizer.
Yeah.
And then they're all like, and you'll notice that the artwork is the same throughout there's about 15 albums, and we've got virtually the same artwork. So people get confused. People say, have I got that album? Janice, have I got that album? Have we got this? And I'm going, I don't know, So.
Yeah, I suppose that might actually have reduced some of your sales over the years.
Oh, yeah.
I've already got that one.
No, that's it. I'm always having a constant fight with Jonny, the guitarist, because he comes up with good business ideas, and I proceed to sabotage them.
But I suppose you could also go the opposite way as well. So sometimes people go, I've already got that album. Then after a while, they're going, do you know what? All the albums look the same, so maybe I haven't. So maybe there's pros and cons to that. Maybe it evens out eventually, and people end up buying the same album twice.
Yeah. Well, the thing about the albums, I do them all in Sharpie or in gel pen, and because I'm scared of rulers, I'm very, very bad at I don't do stuff like I don't have a graphics app on my phone, so it's all very much using my eye. You just rule of eye, Sharpie. And for like 15, 20 years, I've just been sort of very, very kind of insecure about my art, the qualities of the albums. And suddenly it turns out that we're in a coffee book. We're in one of these coffee table books now called Rock Logos or Logo Rhymes. And we're between the Rolling Stones and Bowie. My Sharpie design. And there's like a little spiel about how wonderful and charming it is, and the fact that I don't go near a graphic designer and it's just done in pen. And I am. I've got like a double page centre spread. With
that's amazing. That's amazing. Also, a big claim, another claim to fame is, I don't know if this is true, but I heard that you, Iggy Pop, did he say that your song "Sweet Leaf of the North" was his favourite song of the decade?
Yeah, he did it back in 2016. He was on this on NPR on the American radio.
Yeah,
and me and my mate were just sitting in the Leeds Art Gallery having a coffee, and we were just talking about this song, "Sweet Leaf of the North," and how it kind of it was a good song for us business wise. And I went to the toilet, and when I came back, my mate said, "Iggy Pop's just named your song as Song of the Decade." So I didn't know. I mean, it's not the kind of thing that happens every day. So I stopped breathing for about 18 minutes. I just sat there, you know, with the coffee getting gradually colder, just taking that in, just trying to sort of just absorb that fucking statement. And after that, yeah,
it's crazy, man. Because like obviously, Iggy Pop, he obviously is a DJ now, so he supports lots of bands. But Song of the Decade from a legend like that is next level, man.
That's freakish. I mean, you don't. It's like going from 0 to 90. Never mind 0 to 60, and I'm a fragile fella. So just hearing that, I mean, a good job. You know, if I'd have heard that when I was about 20, I probably would have gone off and had an overdosed on something. But now that I'm 60, sort of 69, and I've got 3 kids, I'm more settled. But it was still a shock.
I can't believe. I heard you saying that in the podcast as well. I can't believe that you don't look your age at all, man. You don't, not at all. And it's great to see you still out there touring, and that you've still got another 5 dates left. Where else can people catch you?
No, we've got 11 dates left.
11 days. Sorry.
12.
Yeah,
we've got about 12 dates. I've got. I love brown paper bags.
You know what I'll do? I'll get the tour dates up while we're playing a song. We'll play a wee song in a little bit, and I'll get the tour dates up.
Good
so
man,
we can have a wee look at it.
Yeah.
But yeah, I was one of the things I was noticing when I was watching your live footage is how impressed I am with the bits where you do sort of spoken word, almost like comedic rants or the intros. And I just found it quite interesting because it's hard to tell how much is ad-libbed. I don't know if you're freestyling any of it or it's all memorized. And both are just as impressive because I think I've only got one song where I don't rhyme. And it's quite, I find it really hard to memorize stuff like that. So have you got any tricks that you do, or are you just doing things off the top of your head, or
no,
have you somehow memorized?
No, well, I mean, ever since I was a little boy, I'm the eldest of 7. And when I was a little boy, I used to make up stories for my brothers and sisters in bed at night. So I'd be lying in bed and they'd all say, "Tell us a story, Michael." And then I'd start telling them, I just make a story up about a cowboy or about this prince who had a sword and a nice van with a load of hay in the back. And it'd be going out into the wild, snowy weather. And all of us would be in the back of the van in the straw, keeping warm. And he'd go off and he'd have adventures. And so I'd be telling these stories. So I'm just naturally a storyteller. And I can find, and I don't know what, it's a skill, but I know my strengths, and my strength is that I can think on the spot when I'm in a corner. I nearly got beaten up by a load of traveling guys who were. I used to go out drawing people on brown paper bags. I did that for about 30 years, portraits. And I was in this pub, and these people commissioned me to do a lot of drawings. So I did quite a lot, and I was really tired. And it got to like 11 o'clock, and the landlord says, "Come on, it's time to sling your hook." So they said, "Oh, we'll pay you outside." So I got outside, and they said, "Just come round here." And I went round the back with them. And then the next thing, somebody pushed me in the back, and I fell on my face. And I just said, "Don't ruin my trousers. I'm going to a wedding in the morning." And that basically saved my life because they didn't kick the shit out of me. But they did reach into my pocket and found a tenner, and I had to walk all the way home back to my flat in Harold's. But I could always think on my feet, And it's just, I love it. I love the fact that I can stand there and something comes, something arrives, like the word petal. I've got, there's petal. You can have a petal. What would you do with a petal? Well, what you do is you just look at it. It's only a petal, and it's not important. It isn't a bomb. It's just a little petal, and it's pretty. So put it in water or put it in a little album. Just bollocks. It's just
what is there something in the water of Yorkshire? Because obviously Captain Hot Knives is the same, isn't he? He just
yeah. Chris is a very intriguing and he has a lot of there's a lot under the surface, and he's a very loose cannon.
Yeah,
he's a wild man, but he's also he's magical. He has, you've got people like Beefheart, and you've got people like Ivor Cutler and people like that, and that's the area that there's some. He's got stories about his gran and about sort of the second floor of the flats and stuff, and the dodgy things under the bed, and Johnny Depp going off with his bird and stuff, and the pigeons trying to hypnotize him and stuff. The pigeon made me shoplift. The pigeons made me shoplift. So he's a dude. And he's playing with us. We're playing in Sheffield at a place called the Dorothy Pax in December. Is it December? Oh yeah. Sheffield, 7th of December, Dorothy Pax, and he's on with us. And we saw him last time. He came on and he did like a support slot, and he is doing his mad and wonderful kind of freeform stuff. And then he did. I'm not sure what the thing was, but he basically stopped time, because what he did this amazingly, really powerful, very grim, hard sort of tale. And it was beautiful. And so yeah, he's a man to watch out for. And special.
Absolutely, Captain Hot Knives. Hopefully, we'll get back to Glasgow soon. In fact, where have you got any plans for Glasgow? Yeah, yourself?
No, there's nothing. We've got nothing in Glasgow. I mean, we'd go down a bomb in Glasgow. It's just we're playing in the north. We're in Newcastle next week, and then we're sort of we tend to sort of play in some really odd places. Like we're in a theatre 1 minute. Then the next thing we're playing an art centre. Next thing we're playing a greasy little rock club. And sometimes, we do like a children's school or something. And it's cause mayhem in a school and just watch children dribble. It's lovely to see a young child dribble and eyes agog.
We've got to see if any of our viewers will make their eyes agog by playing the new single, Bingley. Just for people that might not be aware of your music, so let's just introduce them to some of the tunes. Would you like to tell us a little bit about Bingley, the inspiration behind it? Give a little introduction.
Yeah. Well, Bingley is a blues, but it's just a blues about pedaling your bike and going to this small little Yorkshire town. Basically, it's about me visiting my old friend who's older than me, so kind of 70 plus. And I'm going to see him, and I'm going to cycle along the canal. And it's not like John Lee Hooker. It's like it's Yorkshire, so it's quite low key. I drink tea. I'm not doing any mainlining or anything. I'm just cycling to meet my friend. We're going to discuss books, films, and he'll probably be wearing some loafers, sitting in the pub, and we're in this quiet little old man's pub. We'll sit in the corner. So it's just about me visiting my friend before he dies, because we're both going to die. And he asked me, he said, about 2-3 years ago, he said, let's do a book before we die. So we did. So we've done a book called It's Irrelevant. And the song Bingley is about me going to visit my friend Robert Galetta in Bingley.
Going to Bingley on my bike. Gonna see my friend. Gonna cycle all the way. Gonna take a little while. It's a windy day. Gonna Bingley. Been a little while since I've been on my bike. I'll be tired when I get there, and I'm gonna have to cycle back. Said I'll be there for 12. Looks like I'm gonna be late. I heard a disturbing call. Could have been a cow, could have been a horse. I could have been dreaming. It freaked me. I got 30 miles or more to go today. Better start pedaling. I've been feeling a little low lately. I'm starting to pick up. I've been to Armley, to Bramley, to Pudsey, to Shipley, to Keighley, and there's only one place I want to be, Bingley. Gonna talk to my friend. He'll have a pint, I'll have a cup of tea. We'll set the world to right. I used to go to Bingley when I was a little boy. Used to visit me Auntie Kathleen. She had lovely food in the fridge, chocolate biscuits, coffee, camp coffee, hot milk and sugar. Me and my mum and my brothers and my sister, we used to just tuck in. I've been to Armley, to Bramley, to Pudsey, to Shipley, to Keighley, and there's only one place I want to be, Bingley. Gonna sit in the corner of the pub. Keep away from the locals. Mind their own fucking business. I'm going to Bingley. I'm gonna chat to my friend. Talk about the future. Talk about dying too. So many wonderful memories. I love my friend. I'm gonna relax and have a cup of tea in Bingley. Relax. Sit at the back of the pub in Bingley. Relax. Rest my weary legs in Bingley.
Brilliant stuff. Taken from the new album Pop, out now. That was Bingley by Mik Artistik. And I was just thinking, by the way, apologies for my original poster said the ego death instead of the ego trip. That was because I'd actually been talking about, I had an in-depth conversations about mushrooms and ego death that same night. So that's why I got that one mixed up. But cracking tune, man. What is the process of writing your songs? Are you going out there with intentionally to write these songs? You want to capture certain emotions and stories, or is it just whatever it comes to you?
Well, it varies. It's just a minute. Sometimes it starts off with a couple of words like Rastafarian wiring, and or somebody says Quentin Tarantino in a Barnsley accent, and I'll just stick it in a little book, and then it'll sit there for about a year. And then one day I'll go back and I'll look at the and I go, Jesus, Quentin Tarantino, he doesn't read the Beano, he's hip and cool and meano. Cortino. So they just kind of sit there like these little seeds, like little mushrooms in the dark. And I leave them for and then I come back and look at the two words like Rastafarian wiring, yellow, green and red. They're all pretty colours, but if you mix them up, you're dead. I had a friend with a spanner. He came round the other night. He told me he could fix my immersion heater and now we're shining bright. Oh, Rastafarian wiring. Hello. So it's I like the marriage of sort of ordinary words and music, or just to kind of something has to clash. So like a Bingley, it's a blues, and blues is kind of associated with like kind of troubles and hardship and people who've got fucking addictions to various substances. But Bingley's just about me riding my bike and it's fairly inoffensive. and it's an inoffensive blues. So I like to kind of mess with the genres because I just make mischief.
Stacey says it's a great tune. It's making me miss Chris and Shipley. And I'm assuming Shipley's near Bingley. I'm not too.
Yes, it is. Yes, close.
Yeah. Jigsaw Tiger says, love a good story and a song, bro. Mark McInnes saying, loving that wee tune. And sounds like Bingley is the governor of somewhere. I don't know. I've never been to Bingley. So what can we do?
What's the govern?
Governs like was originally at one point. Govan was bigger than Glasgow. It's in Glasgow, but it was bigger. That's where all the Clyde, the ships were. Then after the shipbuilding trade, Govan's got. I used to live in Govan. It's got a lot of problems with poverty, but it's recently they built a bridge from the posh bit to over there. So there's a lot of chat just now about gentrification. Great young rapper called Jam Harvey just did a song yesterday that came out called Money Talks in the Govan Docks. So it's having that. It's an interesting conversation because obviously people do. You want to see things improve for an area, but then also it feels like it's not the community's interests at heart.
Yeah,
we're seeing it
you can throw the baby out with the bathwater.
Yeah,
sometimes. I mean, I live in a place in West Leeds. It's Armley, and Armley is fairly poor, and it's had a really bad reputation for years and years. And I've been here 22 years. It's got a lot of people who don't have money and people who come out. There's Armley jail here. People come out of the jail and they come straight back onto the streets, and there's nothing here. There's no money and stuff, so they end up back inside in about sort of a few weeks because they're kind of stealing from the shops, or they're nothing's changed. They're still in that spiral, but at the same time, Armley has a lot of characters and character and beauty, and it makes me laugh, and it scares me a little. But
I watched a few of your Glastonbury performances, and I was reading in the comments that is it true you played every day at Glastonbury for like 10 years, or like it was some big, it seemed like quite a big of a lot of performances.
Well, I'd never done a festival before. I'd never played one, and we sent a CD to Glastonbury. Our very first one, I think, was called Listen. And the CD did like a little tour of all the tents for about 3 or 4 months, and nobody kind of picked up on it. And they thought, I don't. Is it funny? Is it quirky? Is it rock and roll? Is it punk? Whatever. And nobody was going to grab it. And then it did about 3 circuits, and it finally settled at this little place called the Avalon Cafe Stage. And people took a little shine to it, and they said, "Oh, we like him." Well, no, he's the one who does that song about turning into dad or whatever. And so we got a foot in the door, and I'm just used to working. I'm used to being an artist, a working artist. So I had like 20, 30 years wandering around drawing people, and I had to hustle in some rough pubs, and so you just have to have a kind of a work ethic. So we got to Glastonbury, we did 25 gigs over 4 days. So we're doing about five gigs a day.
How did your voice hold up with that?
It didn't.
No.
I was doing
did you smoke, or do you smoke? Did you smoke at the time?
I was doing basically I was doing modern dance by Sunday afternoon. No, yeah. I didn't have any sort of like vocal. I didn't understand how to use my voice, so I just came from like a kind of a shouty, talky. I did stand up for about 10 years before I became a musician. So it's all about chat and all about thinking on your feet. And so I'd never kind of mastered the discipline of like singing and doing oh. So after about maybe six gigs, my voice would be there. I'm turning into. So, but Jonny, the guitarist, bullied me into taking some lessons and using my diaphragm, and I've never been the same since.
I can relate deeply to that. it was a running joke. I would lose my voice at every festival until it turned out it was so bad one time that I was like, because no, it was a kind of running joke. Oh, you must have had a good night last night, kind of thing. And then it was like, one time I was running a stage, and I hadn't done anything. I had 2 beers and maybe 1 joint or something. And then I woke up the next day and everyone was like, "Oh, you must have had a good night last night." And I was like, "There's something wrong with me." So it was actually a vocal polyp. And they said it could be caused by smoking, shouting, talking too loud, singing without doing vocal warm-ups. Basically all the things that I do. But there's a 6th one, and it could just be genetic, which the missus didn't let me away with. But I only had 1 singing lesson after that. And Sev Cash out Sev. And it blew me away how wrong I was using my voice, how I didn't breathe properly. I went to a speech therapist for a couple of lessons. I still haven't figured that out. And just putting your voice under that kind of pressure. So the idea of doing 25 gigs, man, I think 3 a weekend is probably my limit, I would guess.
Yeah, no, people were saying, "Oh, he's the hardest working man in showbiz." And oh, that's a terrible accolade. I'd rather be the most interesting and kind of multi-gendered fucking artist or something, rather than some fucking sweater. And
I've been called that as well. Is that actually an insult? No, that I think about
it. No, it's just a bit. It's not very exciting to be the hardest working man.
It's like being a football player being called the workhorse or something.
Oh, he's a good lad. I don't want to be a good lad.
If he puts a shift in, that boy. Aye.
Yeah.
But so Glastonbury, you just continue to go to that. So these days you play once a night, every night.
No, we just do weekends. And I mean the last weekend I was.
Sorry, I meant Glastonbury. Sorry, I maybe the.
Oh, sorry. Glastonbury. Yeah, we sort of. I was doing about the last time I played, which was the year before. We did about 5 gigs, I think, over. So maybe like a gig a day, a gig and a half a day. Yeah.
And how do you feel? Because obviously I've been in situations whereby when I've played a gig and then went on, like maybe at the Edinburgh Fringe, for example, once we played a gig like 2 hours later, and it was quite interesting because it felt like you're cheating a bit because you're coming out with similar pattern, almost identical set list. Do you when you're doing like that many gigs in a weekend at Glastonbury or something like that, do you peak? Do you think you get better as the weekend goes on, or do you peak in the middle? What do you think?
No. Well, I think my strength is that I can improvise and that I can make stuff happen. So I have 15 albums of stuff, but often, we've gone on stage and we've done 1 song and it's lasted like the first set because I've just gone off on one. And I've just decided to talk about, kind of like, hedgerows or thickets or the wonderful world of thickets, something. And that can go on for 20 minutes, 25 minutes. So my strength is that I turn up on stage like a new baby. I'm going, oh, I'm looking around and the world is a wonderful and magical place. And I'm going, oh, and I'm pointing, going, look, there's a plane. And the plane is it's just coming over the trees there and it's just dropping petals. It's dropping petals on it. No, they're not petals. They're tiny little bombs, little current bombs. So it's just yeah. Sorry.
Do you get? So do you think? Do you think that the more you're doing over the weekend, do you think your confidence increases, or are you just always on the same? You're on the same.
I'm just working, and I mean, I just tend to sort of my work is thinking on my feet, making just bringing ideas, just chucking ideas out all the time, bang bang, scattergun. So and it's so we sometimes we're doing some of the same set maybe twice a day or something, but it won't be the same set because I'll be riffing on somebody in the audience who's got a very loud mother, and I'll be playing with the mother or flirting with her, and so it's whatever's in front of me. I'm not really interested in kind of delivering the set or because I just want to fuck about. I want to be there and I want to make people think, well, I could do that.
Yeah.
That's he. What's he doing? Is this a sound check? What's he doing? How come he's not doing a proper song? And I love it. I love the fact that I'm up there and I'm just basically I'm given license to just mess. And
yeah, no, I mean, there's loads of funny bits in your back catalogue, but there's just some actually beautiful moments as well. You know, and then obviously sometimes you're managing both those things. Like, is it Two Old Men that's on the album?
Old guy,
Yeah. Sorry. And that's great. That's really funny, but really poignant as well. And then you've got songs like Stars, which are just beautiful as well.
Yeah.
And it's that's why I was saying, like, it's hard to pigeonhole stuff like that, because I mean we've got a bit of comedy in our music as well, and I feel like sometimes people don't understand that. I've had band members that didn't understand it as well. Don't do that. That's people won't take you seriously if you do that, and I think that can be true to a certain extent. But I was always inspired by bands like Super Furry Animals or the Beta Band or whatever. Where
amazing, but yeah.
So they have a bit of, so they're going to have songs that are going to be spine tingling and make you feel something emotional, but you're also going to have a bit of fun. And I think, I suppose the way I like to look at it is I like to take the craft of writing seriously, but I don't want to take myself too seriously. Was that how you would kind of describe what it is you're doing?
Yeah, I mean, I'm a fairly genial fella. I get up there and I just want to kind of please. I mean, just the party, kind of animal or something. Well, not, but I like to basically just look after the crowd and entertain them. But at the same time, some of the stuff that we do is quite difficult material, and there's a song called "Bullying Son," just about I'm living with a bullying son, and the house is too small for his massive frame, and I'm going to take my wife and the CDs and just leave my bullying son to the house. So there is some dark, and there's some of the songs are about sadness and about depression, because I have bouts of depression at times and stuff, and but also I can be a little boy, and I'm not trying to be anything. I'm not trying to be funny, or I'm just hypnotized, charmed by stuff around me.
You mentioned the book earlier on, just before we played the last song. What is that? Can you tell us a bit more about that? And is it available? And you said you wrote it with your friend.
Oh yeah. The book is called "It's Irrelevant," and it looks like a little schoolboy's Sylvine exercise book, and it's basically the story of what happened was back just before lockdown. Me and my friend Robert, we'd gone out dancing together for years. We liked punk. We were into kind of different bands, and we'd always be turning each other onto different things we'd heard or seen. And Robert was like fairly well educated. He's been to Oxford and done the classics, and I was from a poorer background, but we seemed to have a really nice marriage of ideas, and there was a certain we clicked. But Robert said to me, we'd never done anything together as artists. He writes poetry, and I do my writing and this, that, and the other. And it got to he said, well, why don't we just do a book before we die? And I thought, yeah, let's do. And so I said, let's do a book about all the phone calls we have, because we talk about, we're on the phone and we're talking. We say, oh God, I heard this great band last night, The Whole Steady, or I saw this great film called Tony Erdman. And so he said, well, so we said, look, let's do a book about these people that we talk about. So it's a book full of and it's got little a brief description of why these people mean so much to us. And so it's just a book written by two old guys about some fairly obscure artists. That it's not going to go anywhere. It's not going to change the world, and so we thought it's irrelevant. And it's available from mikartistic.com, from the website.
Yeah, I've got it. I've got it up here. I'll put the link in the comments for anyone who's interested.
Yeah, I've done, and it's full of pen and ink drawings that I've done, and some writing. And Robert's done most of the writing. So yeah,
I'll put a link in the comments for anyone who's wanting to maybe check that out. I'm very interested in that. I also love the idea of that's the kind of thing that friends say to each other. We should do a book before we die, and they don't do it. So I get the impression that you're somebody that gets things done.
Yeah, well, because for a long time I didn't. For a long time I was a bit too kind of perfectionist and saying, "Oh well, no, I can't really." I'd always put an obstacle in front of an idea and say, "Oh, that's a great idea." "Oh no, I can't do it because I haven't grown a beard, so I can't be in this. I can't make a film about Robinson Crusoe." So I'd always sabotage any. But as I got older, I realised that I'm getting older, and that there's all these young bucks there. They're following their ideas up and just doing them. And Johnny Guitar said, "What's the worst? Just stick it out. Just bloody do it." But it doesn't matter if it's not totally formed. Just get the bloody thing out. It doesn't matter if you don't, because if nobody sees it, then it doesn't matter. But just get it out, and it'll grow. It'll grow legs or wings or whatever.
Yes, it's quite heartbreaking when you see people who are very talented they're sitting with a hard drive full of amazing music that they just aren't ready to share with the world. And obviously it's their decision, but sometimes you're just like, get a grip, come on, this is actually brilliant. But
yeah,
sometimes most of the time people are their harshest own critics. And sadly, the people that aren't harsh enough on themselves seem to have no problem with releasing subpar music as well.
Yeah. So that's the annoying thing is, well, we need to get rid of them bastards. the mediocre, I mean.
So what's the message? What can you send? So if like any of my friends, they probably know who they are if they're listening and they're sitting on their good tunes, what's your message to them?
Well, just be brave, and just say to yourself, I can do hard things. That's it, really.
What's your message to the shite people that they have too much confidence?
I forgive you.
I've got a wee video of your paintings. I realise you can't talk because it automatically mutes you when I play the video. But tell us about that exhibition.
Well, that exhibition, I started painting about. I've always drawn. I've always done stuff. I've always been a greedy bastard. So I've always wanted to do everything. To play, write, scribble, direct, do the lighting, wash the dishes. And so the beginning of this year, or just towards the end of last year, I was in a bit of a low spot. And a friend of mine says, "Why don't you do some painting?" And that's what I'd kind of gone to throughout my life. I've kind of gone to, but the last exhibition I'd only sold a picture, so I felt kind of diminished. I felt very small. I thought, I'm not going to put myself up to be knocked down again. But then my brother said, "Just keep painting. You just paint. You're a painter. Doesn't matter whether you don't sell them for millions. What you do is beautiful." So I got myself somebody commissioned me to do he brought a kitchen cupboard door to a gig, and he said, "Will you put something on this kitchen cupboard door for me? And I can put it in my shed, and I'm going to get all my musical mates that I love, and I'm going to give them a kitchen door and say a kitchen cupboard door and say, will you put something on this and just decorate my shed, my man shed with these kitchens." So I took this door and I got my acrylics out and I painted a fat little rock singer, because I do a song called Fat Little Rock Singer about this guy who dresses in black, but like his buttons are flying off his shirt and his belly's hanging out. And but he's still loved by his fans because his music's so beautiful. And so I painted this little rock. And then the next thing, I started to do some more paintings. And these are all, the pictures are from inside. Normally, I spent my life depicting people, doing portraits of people that you can recognize. But the people that came from this, in this show, these people turned up out of my soul, basically. I'd be looking at the canvas and I'm going, come on, come to me. And I'd start making marks, and then somebody would appear out of the mist. Somebody would appear out of the mess. And sometimes it'd be an imposter. So I just mess it. I just cover it over. And then I'd work again until somebody else would reappear. And then I'm thinking, I know you. You're all right. And it might be some kind of wood nymph or it could be some kind of like a kind of a cannibal hamster or something. So and so I did about 14 of these paintings, and they're all from in here, and they were all frightening to do. They all hurt.
Some of them are terrifying.
Yeah. But and the gallery that I showed him in is a place called the Pool Bank Vintage Interiors, and the chap who owns it, his brother's a painter and he makes art, and he had this wonderful little medicine cabinet that he'd made, and all the products were called
Fuck it all.
And this is a syringe. But it's not actually a syringe. It's a, hang on, I can open it up. It's a ballpoint pen.
That's magic.
You see, so the thing is, all that stuff there makes me laugh, and I'm so happy that I'm in the world, because there's always something that's going to just upset me and make me laugh, and I always look for that every day. I look for something that's going to appeal to me, so
that was just sorry. In that, so this is where you're doing your art exhibition,
yeah,
and you've got that syringe that says "fuck it all." So was that just sitting on its own, like next to the art, on like a?
No, it was in a little cabinet, like, and the cabinet was called, and it had all these like "fuck it all" tablets, "fuck it all" syringe, it had "fuck it all" lint, dressings, and I just thought it was sublime, and that's the stuff that I think. We need kind of stuff like that to kind of just lift us out of the mire that we're in, at the moment.
I found it really interesting what you were saying about when you're painting the heads, and you're saying that when you don't recognise them. So you're saying it's quite scary as well. So when you're seeing one of these scary faces, but you recognise it, are you feeling do you feel a kinship with this?
Yeah, I see that. I see myself in there.
Yeah.
I see a kind of a sort of like something through sort of like the briars or the brambles. There's life in there somewhere, and I think, oh yeah, I recognise that. But it's like it's just covered in scars and scabs and stuff. But at the same time, it's reassuring, because it's somebody who's been kicked around a bit, but there's still a little twinkle, or there's still a light there. And sometimes there isn't, but at the same time, even when they're suffering, there's still something I recognise. And the little bell goes in my head. I think, oh yeah, that's right now. That painting works. I recognise him. Welcome.
Do you have any? Do you just totally destroy the paintings, or do you keep any of the ones that you don't recognise? I'm a bit of a coward in the way of in getting rid of stuff. I normally paint over stuff, and sometimes you just have to. No, I'm not a coward. No, I can really go to town on a canvas, and I can start something, and it looks kind of, oh yeah, it's quite nice there. It's got some kind of groovy kind of lines there, and some nice colours, stuff there. And I think, what it needs now is a good splash of black right across the front. Get the fucking black in and destroy it. And so there's a voice of reason, and there's a voice of unreason. And I normally listen to the voice of unreason, because usually something brilliant and beautiful comes when you just let go and stop trying to be cool and just go. Just go. In you go. Mark's asking where he can buy your paintings. I'm assuming the website.
They're not on the website, no. But you can get in touch with you can send me an email. I can send you some images, Mark. Just contact me on my email address. That's it, Mik. It's Mik at mikartistic.com.
So it'll be on the website, won't it?
Yeah, it'll be on the website. Yeah.
I'll link.
Or you can contact me on Facebook or on Twitter, and I'll show you some of the work. I've sold 4 already, so I'm really buzzing. I'm very, very proud of myself.
That's fantastic, and you've still got another. For anyone who's going to be in the Yorkshire area, it's Just recap where it is. And
all right, it's a place called Pool Bank Vintage Interiors, and it's near Otley. And the show is on till December the 16th. It's Friday to Monday every week till December the 16th, 10 o'clock till 4 o'clock. And the details will be on, if you Google Pool Bank Vintage Interiors, and it's Otley, LS21 1FD, oblique.
Epi Mew says, I forgive you, class act. That was a good answer. Stuart's also enjoying your paintings. He's saying those are impressive. Just love, says Stuart. I think we're going to play Plastic Fox. Could you tell us a little bit Plastic Fox?
I was just coming back from my holidays. I'd gone down to this place called Branscombe, and I'm sitting in the back of the car with my partner and my two mates. I mean, my friend in front, Linda, she said, I went to a garden centre last week and I saw this Plastic Fox, and the word, it basically my head exploded, and I just got my pen out and I started to write. I just loved the marriage of plastic and fox. The two words just connected, like it was like kind of Semtex or something. They just, and I started to scribble, and I wrote the song in about Plastic Fox at the top of the garden, Plastic Fox curled up like a child, pride of place next to the water feature, Plastic Fox, it's got a snail on its head, and it all just tumbled out. And then I got home and we worked on it, and it became this raging tirade. And but Iggy Pop calls it what's he call it now? A classic. A surefire, something like that. Anyway, he really likes it, and but lots of people like it. Gideon Coe's a big fan. He stuck it on the radio, and he just said, and that's kind of an anthem, really. People say, "Oh, play Plastic Fox, Mick." Little kids do versions as well on little 3 or 4 year old children do versions on online, and it's normally much better than mine.
Brilliant. This is Plastic Fox.
Plastic Fox at the top of the garden, Plastic Fox curled up like a child, pride of place next to the water feature, Plastic Fox, it's got a snail on its head. Plastic Fox. Plastic feet and a plastic tail, out in all weathers, wind or hail, lying in the garden covered in snow. There's a bit bitten off of its plastic toe. Plastic Fox. Butterflies flutter out in the garden, washing line empty except for some pegs. The lady of the house, she's doing some lunch, 2 slices of toast and some scrambled eggs. Plastic Fox. Plastic Fox, it came out of a box. Plastic Fox, it was a present from a son. Plastic Fox, it went straight in the garden. Plastic Fox, the grandkids love it. Plastic Fox. Gnomes with fishing rods scattered in the garden, a little white windmill down by the trees. But the Plastic Fox is the centre of attention. Plastic Fox with its plastic knees. Plastic Fox. Plastic Fox. Oh! 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 Oh!
Fantastic. Plastic Fox. Brilliant stuff. I'm going to play Sweetly for the North to close us out. I did say at the start it's too long to put in a podcast, but if you put it at the end, if you've listened this far, you're going to love that as a classic.
As a salve to after Plastic Fox.
Yes, Stuart, Mark,
I like Plastic
and
Fox.
Big Tigers all enjoying the Plastic Foxness. Is there who else, is there anything else happening in Yorkshire music wise, or even not Yorkshire, just maybe something that's maybe in the cusp of on the underground that maybe I might not be aware of that you recommend that I should check out?
I recommend some good films.
Yeah,
we just had the Leeds Film Festival in Leeds, and I went to see a film with my partner called Sex, and it was a Norwegian comedy, and it was about two chimney sweeps, and they were sitting in the canteen one morning, and one of them says to the other, he said, I had a really weird dream last night, and I dreamt that David Bowie was looking at me, and he was looking at me with really kind eyes, and he was just looking really warm, and I felt like a woman. And it could have been David Bowie, it could have been God. And then his mate says, that's mad. He says, because last night I had sex with a man. And he said, this fella was just, we were chatting, and he was, just looking at me, but he seemed to be really attracted to me. And then he asked me if I'd like to have sex with him. And I said, yeah. I said, yes. And because he says, but you're not gay, for instance. He said, no. But and his friend said, did you tell your wife? He said, yeah. I went home. I just told her straight, because it's only sex. I mean, but it was just, I'd never done it before, and it just so that's, and the film carried on in that vein. So that and another film called Bird that's got a fella called Barry Keoghan in, who was in The Banshees of Inisherin, the film with Colin Farrell and Brendan Gleeson. A film called Bird, and it's just about a bad dad and his daughter, and there's a strange man who's a bird in it, and it's just come out.
I've noticed that you've picked one-word films as well.
Yeah.
You're not watching it unless if it's.
I'm a man of few words. I am, Mark.
As soon as a film's got more than one word, you're like, nah, I can't be bothered with that. But give me an impactful one-word album any day of the week. I've got your tour dates. I've managed to find them. Here we go. So we are Edinburgh has been. So You've got Newcastle, Kendal, Sheffield, Birmingham, Hebden, London, Manchester, Nottingham, Glossop, and Leeds, all before the end of the year, man. So it's still loads of gigs to come up, and hopefully we'll get you up to Glasgow next year, and maybe a couple of Scottish festivals as well. I think you're doing well for. I can't quite confirm it yet, but I think we will be doing a wee festival in the Isle of Arran in June. We just need to get permission confirmed from the owner of the site. But we did it last year, and this year it was great fun. So yeah, I think our crowd would love you, man. So let's try and make a Glasgow gig or a festival happen going forward. And the album Pop is out now, and I'm assuming that you've got it on your website or Bandcamp as well. Yeah,
it's on the website. You can get it on Bandcamp. You can buy it if there's only about 30 copies left, actually, I think. So you better hurry up and buy one.
That's great. And it's the best way to support. I'm just reminding people, because it's surprising sometimes people don't realise that the best way to support is probably buying the physical directly from the artist, but then also streaming it. Because a good friend of mine was saying that, I'm sorry, I always stream it on Spotify, and it's like, but you've already bought it. You bought it physically first, so it's fine. It actually works. It helps the artist if you buy the physical thing and then stream it.
And if you come out to the gigs as well, that works. Come and see us, and if the weather's bad, just keep coming. We'll look after you.
Thank you very much, mate. It's been an absolute pleasure. I'm going to end with the Sweetly for the North, the Iggy Pop song of the decade, and it's like a film, really, isn't it? It's a short film. So if you just go ahead and give us a wee introduction to that, and I'll just line that up for the people.
Yeah, Sweetly for the North. It's just I wrote it about 15 years ago, and it's we'd been playing around Leeds, playing small gigs, and then we got invited to play in London, and we were so excited, and we packed the car, and we headed off, and we're making our way towards the motorway, and there's a little leaf trap behind the windscreen wiper, and it just stayed on, and we're trying to knock it. Well, we tried to increase speed, but it still stayed on, and it stayed with us right the way down past Leicester and down past Barnsley, all the way to London, and it came back with us. And so it was like it was on our first visit to London outside of Leeds, and it was a kind of a magical sort of talisman. So, and I decided to write a song about it. So
and what song it is as well.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mick. Absolute pleasure. Good luck with the rest of your tour. And
thank you, Mark.
Hopefully see you next year, man.
Lovely. All right. God bless. Take care. Yeah.
Take care.
Leave
It's all about a little
Go
leaf.
and buy the album pop.
No, this is, yeah.
Or stream it in
I
Spotify.
got your fucking pints in the air now, just to hold you like you're with me. If you're not with me, you're somewhere else, aren't you? You're at Christmas, Nirvana, heaven. Anyway, here we are. We're all together here. And this is a song about a little leaf that got trapped behind the windscreen wiper when we went to do a gig in London. We went to do a gig in London, and we were like excited and enchanted about travelling down there to places where people had sex all the time, and they had money coming out of their pockets, just loads of money, and they talked. They said, oh, I don't believe you. I've got a fucking shotgun. And there's just stuff like that, and you think, my God. And they all had money and shotguns, and they all ate kebabs. And I wanted to smell that. I wanted to smell the smell of cordite and fucking oil and kebabs and tarmac. I wanted to listen to that accent, and I wanted to see a film star, an old film star walking along that were really small, like John Mills. John Mills is only 3'7". He's very, very small. He's like a little doll. I saw him at a fucking zebra crossing, like in a pinstripe suit. He was a little doll. I thought, you're massive. You're a big star, but he was a little man. And it was fucking magic. He was a fucking pixie. So all these film stars are all pixies. You know, Arnold Schwarzenegger, he's 4'9". Anyway, this song's all about a little leaf that got trapped behind the... We did this gig, we went down to London to play this gig, and we were dead excited about playing in London, and we drove through the wind and the rain, and it was very warm for December. And we roared down, and we got past Sheffield, and we're down towards Leicester, and the little leaf was still with us. We got all the way down to London, and we got into London, and I was so happy. I cried with joy, but I didn't cry. I cried inwardly. I didn't want to show my tears to my bandmates. I just cried inwardly. I was melting like a little fucking Knickerbocker glory. And I thought, here I am finally, Chelsea, Earl's Court. This is it, the kingdom, the enchanted kingdom where I'll be famous and people will look up to me, and like you're looking up to me now, and I've got used to it now, but back then I wasn't used to being looked up to and adored and worshipped, you know. Back then I was just another Joe on the street. I was just another guy there, just making his way through life. And now it's a different story. I'm kind of strangely distant, and I'm a part, and I appreciate what you're doing out there, and I feel for you. You've got your fucking Christmas presents to wrap yet, and I don't buy Christmas presents, just people give me presents, and I just say thank you, and I sign it, and then I just fucking give it back. If it's shit, it's normally shit. But anyway, just, you know. Anyway, I don't want to tell you, I don't want to fucking bore you, but anyway, when I was young and naive and I was 56, and life was a fucking cherry, and I wanted to smell that cherry and grasp it. And we did the gig in London, and we were like, you know, it was so exciting, and I looked over and I could see somebody from an artist. I thought, oh my God, it's Jeremy Deller. Oh my God, it's Damien Hirst. Oh my God, oh shit, he's watching me. Oh, I don't know what to do. I better just do this. Oh, I'm very shy. And I went, I was just melting in the joy of London. And then I did the gig, and we got paid £460. We sold a load of CDs that night, and we got back on the motorway, and we're driving up the motorway, and then we stopped for some petrol at the service. It was like £185 for petrol, and it was like, then there was fucking magazines. and I got some crisps and a fucking big bag, one of those big bags, you know, the £1.95, and Ben got some and Johnny as well. So, and we came back with 43 quid each. It was fucking, and I felt strangely thwarted. But anyway, I thought, no, the little leaf was still with us on the journey. It came all the way. It was there. It just stayed like a kind of impassive thing. It showed nothing. It didn't do anything. It just stayed. It was still. It was a little piece of living matter that wasn't living anymore. It didn't fucking matter, but it was still there on the windscreen. And it was like just going, Mick, it's all right. Look what's happening. Just calm down. You're anxious. You're going to get depressed, and you don't want to get fucking depressed at Christmas. Because that just spoils it for everybody. Yeah. So I wrote this song anyway. This is a song, and I'm just gonna do this. I'm gonna do this for a minute. I'm gonna do this. I'm just gonna do this. For a minute. That's what Kanye West does. He just it's fucking 20 minutes. I'm gonna do this, and everybody goes, "That's fucking amazing. That's just genius." He's not even speaking words. All he's just going, I'm gonna do this. Anyway, I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna write the fucking song that I wrote. Anyway, just write this. You know, I'm not bloody. I don't fucking know. It goes like this. I think it goes like this anyway. Well, we carried the leaf all the way on the windscreen to London, and we carried the leaf all the way on the windscreen back to Leeds. We laughed at the thought that it might just make it to Leicester, but it lasted to London, and it hung on to Leeds. Sweet leaf of the north, you go back and forth. A little brown star, come on, join in. Get your lighters out. To guide us on our way, sweet leaf of the north. You go back and forth. Clap out of time if you want. A symbol of hope. In a world that's cold and grey. Now there'll come a time when you take a tumble and leave us and fall to the tarmac below. You give us hope, 'cause you're a survivor. Yeah. You'll always be with us, wherever we go. Come on, sweet leaf of the north. You go back and forth. A little brown star to guide us on our way, sweet leaf of the north. You go back and forth, a symbol of hope in a world that's cold and grey. Thank you very much.
Do you want weirdo or do you want itchy?
What?